In this practice, we'll have a focus on the shoulders and the back, and also release the neck. For this practice, you may want to use a block and a blanket for our seated poses, and the block for standing and seated poses. We'll begin standing. Grab your block and press the block between your hands. Press firmly. As you press the block firmly, reach forward and notice how the upper back rounds. Now pull the block back so you draw in from your fingers to the heads of the arm bones. Just notice how the chest lifts. Do that again to notice the contrast. Reach forward. Now pull back. Keeping that pulling back sensation, reach your block up. Some of us like bending the elbows slightly. For many of us, that enables just a little bit more engagement. Draw your block over to your right and enjoy a nice stretch to the left. Come back to center, squeeze the block, draw over to the opposite side. Squeeze the block to inhale and come up. Draw over to the right side again. As you hold on to the block with your right hand, reach your left hand back. Now stretch the right arm out. Reach your right ear toward your right shoulder. Pass the left hand behind your back and just kind of notice a nice stretch to the side of the neck. Place your left hand back to the block. Squeeze the block. Inhale, rise up. Reach over to the left side, squeezing the block to begin with. Now free your right arm and reach it out to the side. Extend your left. Now pass the right hand just behind your back. Keep on reaching the left ear toward the left shoulder. Place your right hand back to the block. Squeeze the block. Inhale and lift your block up. Keep your block between your hands. We'll use it for some standing poses. Step wide on your mat. Turn your right toes out. Bend your right knee, still squeezing the block. Reach your arms up, still squeeze the block. As you squeeze the block in, pull in from your front foot to your back. Get a nice stability there. Reach over toward your back leg. Reach over toward your front leg. Keep squeezing the block. Inhale, rise up. Turn your right toes in, your left toes out. Bend your knee, squeeze the block. Draw toward your back leg, keeping the strong engagement with the arms. Draw toward the front leg. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper, relying on the strong stability of the back leg. Root down to rise up out of the pose. Release your arms down. Now turn your feet so your right toe is turning out. Your left foot is parallel to the back end of the mat. Push your hands in toward the block. Reach back first. Reach over to the side, still squeezing the block. Inhale, rise up. Come to the opposite side. Look at the lineup of your feet. Hug the hands in to engage the shoulders. Reach back first. It's a way to reinforce the stability of the back leg. So as you draw yourself toward the front leg, you keep this strength and stability of the back leg so that you have that stability as you root down to rise up out of your pose. Now release your hands, and your shoulders might feel just a little bit tight from all that movement. Let's come to all fours position. We'll do cat-cow with our hands turned. So the fingers are turning toward your knees. Now, for some of us, that may not work. So just do your typical cat-cow action here. On the in-breath, draw your heart forward. Exhale breath. Just draw your gaze inward. If you're able to turn your hands, just notice the length that you get as you claw the mat with the fingertips, that length all the way from the wrist creases to the shoulders. Just keep a nice steady movement with an engagement of your fingertips so that you're not pouring all of your weight into the wrist creases. Just nice, easy movements. Breathe in to lift your sit bones and breathe out to draw your tailbone down as you look inward toward your heart. Now come out of the pose to step your right foot right between your hands. This is a lunge, but a very high lunge. We're not going very deep here. Just keep the right knee right over the ankle to begin with. We might work on getting a stretch of the back leg in just a bit. Now, find your block. Take your block right between your hands, just as we've been doing. Squeeze the block, reach your arms up, draw side to side to get length to the side body as you squeeze the block. Back to center. Keep this nice opening in the chest. Now give the back leg just a little bit more stretch as you drop yourself into the pose a little bit deeper. Keep a nice openness to the chest. And slowly release your block out of your hands. Now turn your back foot, keep your knee exactly where it is. Line up the left knee with the right heel. Holding onto the block again. Squeeze the block. Draw over to one side, still squeezing the block. Notice how the core engages so nicely. Squeeze the block to rise up. Draw to the opposite side. Come back to the center position and draw over again. Just free the block to the floor. Reach your right arm out to the side. Feel this nice fullness that you get here. Now reach your right arm away from you. Draw your left ear toward your shoulder. Reach your right arm back. And just enjoy this stretch to the neck muscles. Inhale, reach your arm back to rise up. Now make your way back to the lunge position as you step back to all fours. Trade sides. Take your left foot right between your hands. Grab your block. Come up to this kneeling position. Squeeze the block. Pull back to bring the shoulder blades in. Reach your arms up. Keep squeezing the block with a nice openness to the chest. Draw yourself just a little bit deeper in your lunge to get a little stretch through the back leg. Come out of the lunge to turn your right foot. Keep your left foot and right knee aligned. Squeeze the block. Hug the shoulder blades in. Reach over to the side. Back to center. Over to the left side. Back to center. Keep squeezing the block as you go to the right again. Now allow your block to support you as you reach your left arm over your head. Now reach the left hand away from your head. Allow your head to release so that the right ear comes closer to the right shoulder. Take your left hand behind you. Just reach it back to find this nice length on the left side of the neck. Now free your left arm and lift yourself up out of the pose. Come back to all fours position. And to balance out the right and left side, let's do cat-cow again. If you've got a little bit more freedom in the wrists, you can turn your hands so that the fingers are directed back toward your knees. Inhale, draw your heart forward. Exhale, get your back body to be full. In breath, out breath. Inhale, exhale. Shift back to the center position. Come to a seated position. Many of us like sitting on a little elevation for sukhasana, where we cross our legs in front, have the right leg in front. Grab your block again. Press the block. As you press the block, just draw over to the left. Squeeze the block. Draw over to the right, trying to keep the sit bones nice and planted. Come back to the center position. Free your right hand to take your right hand to the outer left thigh. Take your left hand to the block behind you. If you can turn your palms so that the back of the hand presses the leg. Open your chest nicely. Come out of the twist. Take the block in the hands again. Squeeze in. Cross your legs the opposite way so the left leg is in front. Draw over to one side. Squeeze the block. Come back to center. Draw over to the opposite side, squeezing the block. Come back to center. Free your left hand and park your left hand to the outer right leg. See again, if you can turn the palm open, press the back of the hand firmly against the leg. The right hand is supported with a nice lifting quality. Draw your gaze over to the right side. Come back to center. Squeeze the block again. Reach it up. Now, pressing the outside of the feet firmly, reach your block forward. Root down to rise up, to come out of your pose. Release your block. Release your block. You come back to center. Now reach your block forward. Keep a nice engagement of the upper body as you draw down. Inhale to rise up. Release your block and come to a supine pose, lying on your back. With your knees bent, place your block right between your inner thighs. Squeeze the inner thighs into the block. Now lift your pelvis up. Continue to squeeze the block. This is not full Setubandha Sarvangasana or full bridge. We're just lifting the pelvis up as we keep engagement, keep squeezing into the block, hugging the midline, we call it in yoga. Now take your pelvis down, free the block, and in the same way, not full bridge, with our feet together, squeeze the imaginary block, lift your pelvis up. With the pelvis lifted, extend your right foot forward. Continue nice engagement of the left leg. Release your right foot. Squeeze the imaginary block. Reach your left leg straight. Keep squeezing that imaginary block. Release your left foot down. Release your pelvis down. Take your right ankle just to the outside of your left leg. Draw your left knee in towards you and interlace your fingers behind the left thigh. Keep the legs engaged. And you can do that by spreading your toes. Draw your right knee further away from your ribs. Find fullness. Find engagement in the legs as you refine the arch in the lumbar spine. So you're drawing the legs away from the chest to support the lumbar spine arch. Release the clasp hand and take your feet to the earth and trade sides. So take your left ankle to the outer right leg. Draw the right thigh in. Interlace your fingers right at the belly of the hamstring. Engage your legs. Spread your toes. Reach your left knee away from your left ribs. Now refine the arch. See if you can get a little lifting quality in the low back, so the low back's not flat against the mat. As you reach your right foot away from you, the left knee draws away from the ribs. Your breath invites you to go a little bit deeper in your pose. Slowly release your interlace fingers from behind the leg. Take your feet down and extend your legs. Extend your arms. Draw your breath in and out. You feel your arms and your legs completely supported by the earth. And with that stillness of the limbs, you can focus fully on the quality of the in-breath, the quality and the length of the out-breath. Breathe in deep and out long. Breathe in deep and out long. Maintain that felt sense of ease in your body, in your breath. And maintain the stillness in Savasana. Give yourself the time to discover the ease. Breathe in deep. And breathe out long. Enjoy Savasana. Namaste.